Hi, I'm Katie Hall from United Healthcare Pro Cycling Team. Welcome to the Voxwomen Cycling Show.
Coming up in this month's show, we travel to California to bring you all the action from 3 stages of the women's race. We chat to Voxwomen Road Rider of the Year in 2016, Megan Guarneri, about her comeback. We start looking at women's roles in cycling with Emma Kennaugh, who works for Team Sky. But first, we join Annette Edmondson of Wiggle High Five as she prepares for California.
Our lifestyle is pretty crazy. About 3 weeks ago, I was in Australia for the Commonwealth Games. I went through to Singapore, then I raced in China. I came home to my European base in Girona for a week, went to Andorra for altitude training in the mountains for a week. We are up in Andorra. We are out ready for our first ride. As you can see, up in the cool chalets, and we have some snow on the mountains. So we are certainly at altitude. We're about 1,900 meters here, and we're going to go for a pedal up to 2.4 and down the other side. So short one today, just get acclimatized, and then get into some training over the next few days. Hey, how good is this? It's not hard to get the Ks in when you got views like this. So yeah, always love coming back to altitude. Best part of the job. That's our training camp up in Andorra done and dusted. Hopefully we've done enough at altitude to try and help us out for the second stage at Tour of California. I feel like the timing's perfect because overnight we had a fresh dumping of snow. So yeah, it's 30 centimeters of fresh snow everywhere. So pretty fresh out there and pretty good timing. So fingers crossed we've done enough. It's a little bit hectic. It's hard work on the bike. We enjoy it off the bike. I love traveling, so I wouldn't do it if I didn't enjoy it. We are here at 5 in the morning, walking down the streets of Girona, because it's about time to start the long haul to California. So yeah, fresh, bright and early. We've got our 2 Chicon bikes packed up nice and tight. 2 little suitcases with pack light. We've done this before. And yeah, we'll be off on our 1.5 hour taxi drive to Barcelona airport before we have our flights through Madrid and then on to Sacramento. That's us about to take off. America, we're coming for you. 12.5 hour flight done. Very excited to land in America, but this line at customs, not so beautiful. So we're in Elk Grove. We're about to start a bit of a recon. We're going to check out the last 5K. So it's a completely flat course, so we are hoping to go for a bunch kick. So we'll check out the finish, and then we're just going to go check out the first 40K, because we're not allowed onto the highway halfway through. So yeah, just go for a tap, get rid of the travel out of the legs, and yeah, good day for it. Recon done. We just checked out the finish. The course is pretty windy, pretty flat. We didn't actually realise it was going to be so exposed, so it was really good to come out here and get a gauge on that. So yeah, we're going to be getting ready for some chop off, I think, out there. And then yeah, nice finish, big wide open road, so it's going to be pretty fast. So if the race isn't split to pieces, it'll be a kick, but I feel like it's going to be a small bunch kick because of that wind. So yeah, feeling almost ready. So off massage this afternoon, and then put the feet up, hit out tomorrow, and then we race. We travel this much, we train this much, so obviously you're going to have to come down at some point, so recovery is so important. So a lot of the time on social media you'll see all the happy, fun things, but what you don't see is us lying in bed doing nothing for the rest of the day. So it's a lot of highs and a lot of lows every day, but yeah, we wouldn't do it if we didn't enjoy it. I wouldn't say sacrifice, I would say decisions. They're all leading towards something bigger. Yeah, there's a few decisions that you have to make and a few things you might have to miss out on, or something you might have to cut short in order to achieve this goal. But if you make the goal, then it's worthwhile.
Hello, we're coming to you from the Amgen Tour of California, empowered with SRAM. Last year, this race came down to just 1 second, with Anna van der Breggen taking the win. We're here on the start line in Elk Grove. The sun is shining and the battle for victory is about to begin. Stage 1 was held in Elk Grove, a pan-flat stage of 124 kilometres to decide the first race leader. And it looked like it was all going to end in a bunch sprint, a pan-flat final few kilometres, and just the one intermediate sprint to contend with in Clarksburg, before it all came back together for the finale in Elk Grove. 89 riders from 15 international teams took to the start in Elk Grove for the 2018 Women's Tour of California, and there were attacks flying from the gun, with American team Hagens-Berman Supermint Pro Cycling the most aggressive. Whitney Allison was the last remaining of the breakaway out on the road. She was 7th at Cascade Cycling Classic most recently, and the 30-year-old made it almost to the line before being swallowed up by the peloton, who were just organising their sprint trains. The pace was really hotting up in the peloton, and some riders struggled to maintain contact at the back of the bunch. The big teams with their sprinters jostled for position as the race whittled down to the final kilometre. Under the Flamme Rouge, and it was Canyon SRAM leading out Alexis Ryan at the front. The orange jerseys of rally cycling, though, ever present. And Team Somewhere were also there, sprinting for Corinne Rivera, Californian-born and still looking for a win in 2018. The final kilometre was pretty chaotic, and 5-time world gold medalist Chloe Dygert crashed after leading out her sprinter Jennifer Valente. In the finishing straight, Corinne Rivera was the first to open up her sprint, alongside Emma White of Rally Cycling. But watch out for Kendall Ryan on Emma White's wheel. The Team Tipco SVB rider powered to the front and crossed the line, roaring in delight. A victory that meant so much to both her and her team, and she was pretty emotional after the podium.
So happy to win, and yeah, that's why you see me screaming. But yeah, I'm so happy my team never gave up on me, and they absolutely emptied themselves just so I could be there for the sprint, and I gave it my everything, and I'm just happy that I could make it happen for them.
So victory then, and the yellow jersey for Kendall Ryan. Emma White of Rally Cycling finished second, and Nettie Edmondson clinched third in what was a very, very tight finish. And some of the GC contenders all finishing safely, and we took the chance to chat to the first ever winner of the UCI Women's World Tour, Megan Guarneri of Boels Dolmans.
The journey to become a professional cyclist, I mean, there's no clear path for women, I would say. It's a really difficult, you start at one level and then you see this professional level and you don't actually know how to get there, and you need to like create it yourself. And I feel like every woman has their own story of how they became a professional cyclist. I actually, after I graduated from college, I said, I want to try to be a professional cyclist for 1 year. And now we're 11 years later. Sorry, Mom, but yeah. My breakthrough moment in my career was winning Strade Bianche in 2015. That was such a huge win that I actually never expected, and to be able to win it in the way I won it, it kind of began. It was the first it was the first big win that kind of gave me the confidence to win again, and that I could be in that position and be successful in that position. Yeah, 2017 started with a concussion and ended with a broken jaw, and I am lucky in my career that I didn't have so many injuries, but 2017 was a huge challenge. To fight my way back after the concussion was really difficult. Being off the road for 2 months. When I was sitting on the ground with just holding my jaw, I was like, what am I doing here? Because it's your face. Like, I don't think some injuries are, it's your face, let's say. And I love bike racing. I love being in the team. I love the team dynamics. I love going out and like playing off my teammates in the race and just knowing what's going to happen next and who on my team is going to do what. And I think that that's really what brings me back. It's not just about yourself. It's about the whole team, and everybody in the team contributes to the win. And I think that that's the most beautiful part about bike racing. It's always really satisfying to have your own success, but at the same time, being in a road as a road racer, when you have success as a team, that's also very satisfying. And being able to perform for the team, it's again, whether you're performing for somebody else's win or performing for your own win, that's what bike racing is about. I've got some grit. Maybe I'm a little bit crazy too. For sure I am.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be back after the break.
Welcome back to the Voxwomen Cycling Show.
Let's get back to the action in the Amgen Tour of California as the peloton face the toughest stage based at South Lake Tahoe. The peloton will race 108 kilometers with 3 significant climbs along the way. First up, Highway 89. Then they'll have an intermediate sprint at Sheridan before taking on the ultimate Kingsbury grade, the 12K climb, before the summit finish at South Lake Tahoe. Megan Guarneri here racing for USA Cycling, one of the GC contenders alongside the likes of Katie Hall of United Healthcare Pro Cycling and Kasia Nieuwedoma of Canyon SRAM. The pace was hot up the Kingsbury grade climb, with riders being shelled out the back one by one. As the gradients ramped up, an elite selection was made. Katie Hall of United Healthcare Pro Cycling driving the pace. Alongside her, Sarah Poidevin, Kasia Nieuwedoma, Taylor Wiles, Erica Minaldi and Rodriguez of Astana. Poidevin and Wiles desperately tried to stay on Hall's wheel. But before long, it was only the Trek Drops rider Wiles who could stay with the pace being set by Hall, who finished second by just 1 second last year. Poidevin, Minaldi, Rodriguez and Nieuwedoma were dropped. Wiles was doing everything she could out the saddle and gritting her teeth to stick with Hall. The duo are former teammates, so know each other very well indeed. Katie Hall looked calm and collected as she made her way up to the summit. The Joe Martin stage race winner was on the attack. Let's see what her team director, Rachel Hedman, was telling her.
Good job, Katie. Come on, use your head. You know you're smarter than Taylor. You can do this. I think that's...
And on the final slopes up to Heavenly Ski Resort, the summit finish of this South Lake Tahoe stage, Katie Hall attacked Taylor Wiles. After losing by just 1 second last year, Hall knew every second counted on the sprint up to the finish line.
Come on, Katie, this is what all this work's been about. Come on, all the way. You need as much time as you can get. Come on, Katie, all the way to the finish, all the way to the finish line.
Spurred on by her team director, Hall continued to put in the ground between her and Wiles. She's won Tour of the Healer and the Cascade Cycling Classic this season and came into the Tour of California in fine form. Here is where she made it count. Wiles was doing everything she could to maintain second place. But it was Katie Hall's day. She stormed to the finish line up at South Lake Tahoe, as she did on this stage last year, to take an emphatic victory. And she had to give it everything to the line, knowing that time mattered in the battle for the general classification. An emotional team director shares the victory in the team car.
Well done, ladies.
After a stunning ride, Taylor Wiles finished second, her first UCI Women's World Tour podium. Coming over the line, she was exhausted. The sprint for third place was on, Erica Minaldi battling Kasia Nuadoma of Canyon SRAM Racing. But it was the winner of Trofeo Binder and the 2017 Women's Tour who sprinted to the line to take third place in the stage and third place overall. Minaldi finished fourth, Brodie Chapman of Team Tibco fifth. But today was all about Katie Hall.
I was really happy to go over the top with Taylor because I know she's really good on the descents and she's really good on the flats. And to just have somebody else with a bigger threshold power than me was really good company to have. And just attacked again on the final climb right after Taylor took a nice long pull and managed to get a little gap.
And so a look at the general classification after two stages of the women's race. Katie Hall leads the way with 29 seconds ahead of Taylor Wiles. Kasia Nuadoma 1 minute 7 behind that in third. Worth noting, no Megan Guarneri in the top 5. She's down in 21st, 3.5 minutes back. Now, there are more and more women in roles in both men's and women's cycling, so we spent some time with Emma Kennaugh, who works for Team Sky, to find out about her role.
Hi, so I'm Team Sky's marketing executive. So my day-to-day job at Tour of California is looking after our VIP guests, organising all our on-race events and managing media. I absolutely love working for the team, and despite everything you see in the media, there's never a bad vibe within the team. We're such a close family and it really doesn't travel through to the team. I think with a high-performance environment, pressure comes naturally, and the team has very high standards, which also creates some pressure, but I also have high standards for myself, so I think a lot of the pressure comes more from me and the standards I set for myself rather than from the team. My manager, Fran Miller, is the team's director of business operations, and having a woman in a senior management role in the team doesn't make the team feel that very male-dominated. I absolutely love seeing fans inspired by the riders, and I love especially seeing the children inspired and engaging with our fans and creating once-in-a-lifetime experiences for our fans. So my eldest brother Peter rides for Bora, and my other brother Tim is a performance manager at EF Education First. They both give me quite a lot of advice. They kind of give me the perfect amount of advice. They don't interfere too much in my life, but they're always there if I need them. And the main advice from them is just to keep doing what I'm doing, keep working hard, and also to remember how lucky I am, because not many 21-year-olds are in this position. I would say work really, really hard, have lots of self-respect, and not to be scared by the male-dominated world, because if you work hard enough, no one will care what your gender is, because your gender doesn't affect your ability to do your job.
The final stage of the Women's Amgen Tour of California was a circuit race in Sacramento, the capital city of California. 20 laps equaling a 70-kilometre route, with an intermediate sprint on the 15th crossing of the line for bonus points in the hunt for the Green Points jersey. Huge crowds and bright sunshine greeted the riders as they left the finish line in Sacramento, with one rider in particular forgetting it was neutral. Erica Aller of Rally Cycling brought back in and order restored before racing really began. As there are no Queen of the Mountain climbs today, Katie Hall will walk away with the Queen of the Mountain jersey. But today it was all about the sprinters, and Team Sunweb were gunning to get Corinne Rivera a win. Canyon SRAM are also on the front, pulling for their sprinter Alexis Ryan, who was 4th on stage 1. And flashes of orange appeared at the front of the peloton too. Rally Cycling looking to put Emma White in the best position for the sprint, as she was in the mix for the green sprint jersey. On the final finishing straight, Team Sunweb, Rally Cycling and Canyon SRAM were all jostling for position at the front, with Team Sunweb providing a textbook lead out so far for Rivera. Trixie Worrack did one last pull for Alexis Ryan. And Wiggle High Five's Nettie Edmondson was also in the mix. Cuban national champion Arlena Sierra jumped onto Ryan's wheel. And Emma White shoulder to shoulder with her too. The sprinters threw everything at the line, but it was Arlena Sierra who could throw her hands in the air. Alexis Ryan finished second, and it looked like Emma White on the line in a photo finish with Corinne Rivera. But the plaudits today must go to Sierra of Astana. And in the general classification, Kasia Nuadoma finished 3rd, Taylor Wiles in 2nd, but it was all about Katie Hall, the champion of the Amgen Tour of California women's race.
So relieved and just so happy. This is the biggest win yet of my career. I feel I was on a roll coming into it, but this is the one I was really focused on this spring. So now it's over and we win, and it's just awesome.
And not only does she win her 4th stage race this year, she also gets herself a Lexus. Well, that's all we've got time for in the Voxwomen cycling show this month, as the Amgen Tour of California women's race Empowered with SRAM comes to a close here in Sacramento. A dominant, emphatic victory for Katie Hall of United Healthcare Pro Cycling. Join us next time for more from the world of women's cycling. And until then, from California, goodbye.
It's Annette Edmondson here. Thank you for watching the Voxwomen Cycling Show.